Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you're watching this. Today, I wanted to delve into a critical issue that impacts all of us: the spread of misinformation on social media, with a specific emphasis on the era of COVID-19. During this presentation, we're going to explore the issues through the lens of visual rhetoric, an aspect of communication that uses imagery to influence or persuade. This is an important area of study, especially in our current era, where imagery is often the main currency of social media. First off, I want to clarify what I mean by visual rhetoric. Essentially, visual rhetoric is the art of using images to persuade, influence, or communicate an idea. This includes anything from photographs to videos, infographics, memes, and even emojis. It's a powerful tool, but like all tools, it can be misused. In the age of COVID-19, it has been wielded to spread misinformation on an unprecedented scale. To fully grasp the scope of this issue, we need to understand what misinformation is. Misinformation is any information that is false. Unlike disinformation, which is also false but created with the intent to cause harm, misinformation is not necessarily crafted with malicious intent. Think of it this way. An example of misinformation could be your mom repeating a rumor back to you that she heard at a PTO meeting. Now that example seems rather harmless. But what if instead it's your mom telling you that vaccines are poison? Both examples are misinformation, but one is extremely dangerous if believed. To delve into how visual rhetoric has been used to spread misinformation during COVID. I'm sure you can think of many different examples from that time period of seeing just baseless claims or relatives not understanding science. But one of the most potent examples of this is the Plandemic documentary. Released during the early months of the pandemic, this 26-minute video used visual rhetoric masterfully to spread misinformation, sowing doubt and creating confusion about the nature of the pandemic, the roles of scientific experts, and the integrity of the global health infrastructure. From outlandish claims that the virus was manipulated or potentially man-made to a claim that flu vaccines increase the chance of contracting COVID-19 by 36%. The Plandemic video used mostly junk science to get its point across and spread like wildfire across the internet. The misinformation present in the Plandemic was a cocktail of out-of-context visual content sourced from various places all across the internet. These varied from highly visible outlets like mainstream news media to more insidious sources like obscure conspiracy theory websites. Regardless of origin, this visual misinformation was compelling and designed to provoke emotional responses. And boy, did it. My grandfather was actually one of the people that was very affected by this and ended up buying a bunch of hydroxychloroquine, and luckily we were able to get to him before he took it. So you might be asking, why focus on visual content? Well, the truth is, humans are highly visual creatures. We respond to and process visual information far faster than text. We're very instinctive and reactive. This basic facet of human psychology was exploited in the Plandemic. The visually persuasive content within it significantly catalyzed its rapid spread across social media platforms all across the internet. It was crazy how fast this spread across platforms. These platforms were particularly conducive to the spread of this visually driven misinformation. These included Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, among many others. These were basically digital superhighways for pandemic and its web of misinformation. Up families all along that way. Many wondered at the time, and in the years since, what caused this to spread so fast. Well, the causes were multifaceted. The uncertainty of the pandemic, widespread fear that it caused, lack of media literacy in the world, especially in the United States, and political polarization. All of these factors played a role, and the consequences of this misinformation were and still are severe. From inhibiting public health responses to causing economic disruption and increasing societal division. So how do we combat misinformation? The solutions are as complex as the causes. Media literacy needs to be improved at all educational levels. Essentially, our children need to learn how to navigate this new world. Social media platforms need to take greater responsibility and enforce stricter policies on misinformation. It requires a global, collaborative effort involving tech companies, governments, and healthcare institutions. To conclude, while we may never fully eliminate misinformation, we can certainly reduce its impact by being informed, critical consumers of media. The fight against misinformation is not just a battle of facts, but also of visuals, and in this fight, everyone has a role to play.